Finally, the New England Patriots have 53 men on their roster, which means the NFL season is right around the corner. A lot of players were cut, including two very surprising cuts in my opinion, but also a lot of players were placed on the injured reserve or the PUP list, which did make way for a lot of players that I saw sticking out their necks in training camp, trying their absolute hardest. But overall, I give this grade for an official 53-man roster a B. I think it's very solid. There's a lot of potential there, and I think it's going to be a good year for the New England Patriots. Unfortunately, with the roster coming out, that means a lot of players we have to say goodbye to. So here are the roster cuts the Patriots made towards the very end of the deadline. They did release offensive tackle Kellen Diesch, which they did end up recently signing him last week. I do believe Kellen could possibly be a practice squad addition. There have already been reports out there, though, that Matt Landers and Liam Fornadel, who went to JMU with me, a good friend of mine, is probably going to end up being on the practice squad. That is great news. You never know with the wide receiver and offensive line when you're going to need somebody for an injury call-up, so hopefully that does pan out for them. But I want to talk about David Wallis. He's a Division III player that came from Randolph-Macon. He played a lot in the preseason. He's got speed like none other. But Wallis, in terms of a wide receiver, may not be ready for the NFL. I am really hoping David Wallis gets signed to the practice squad. I think that he would be great to try and tackle him for punt returns, kick returns, and even just trying to catch up to him is going to make the defense work a lot harder. And they ended up releasing Antonio Mafi. This one was a little bit of a surprise to me, but once again, when there was a very struggling offensive line, it was time for Mafi to be able to step up and prove that he could be a reliable contender, but it just wasn't the case for him today. However, there were more cuts as well. Safety A.J. Thomas, cornerback Shaun Wade, defensive end Jonatham Russell, left tackle Calvin Anderson, and kicker Chad Ryland. These two final cuts were the biggest ones to me all day. Calvin Anderson, I do think he played his heart out in training camp and in the preseason, but because the injury bug did tag on a few times for Calvin Anderson, I just think that's somebody you don't want to add to your 53-man roster because you don't know how he's going to play out in the future. And then Chad Ryland, the man that Bill Belichick traded up for in the draft last year for a 4th-round pick. It still is blasphemy to say, but Chad Ryland has officially been cut from the New England Patriots roster. I do believe he'll end up signing with somebody, but ultimately they brought in Joey Sly, a veteran, to say, hey, look, man, we really want to test your skills, and ultimately Chad Ryland could not keep up. So it does look like Joey Sly is officially going to be the kicker for the New England Patriots. Here are my two biggest surprise cuts of the day. Linebacker Joe Giles Harris. We just saw him tag on 5 tackles and 1 pass deflection in week 3 of the preseason. I think Giles Harris was really making a name for himself on and off the field. I saw a lot of head-hunting abilities. I saw a lot of speed. He was getting through the gaps like none other. I thought that Giles Harris was for sure a lock-in, and it's pretty tough to see him get waived. However, maybe a practice squad addition could be in the future here for Joe Giles Harris. Yesterday, I released my 53-man roster projection, and I had the Patriots offense and Alex Van Pelt taking 4 running backs. And that included Kevin Harris. But it looks like the Patriots went with 3 running backs, and Kevin Harris wasn't one of them, which means JaMycal Hasty has made the 53-man roster ahead of Kevin Harris. I had Hasty as my 4th-string running back, and you're telling me he beat out Harris as well? I thought Kevin Harris took majority of the snaps in preseason, not to mention a touchdown run in the first game versus the Panthers. This is wild to me, and I do believe he will be picked up on the waiver wire tomorrow. So with that being said, we've gotten to know a lot of these players in preseason and in training camp. So I want you guys to go ahead and type good luck in the comment section below. Give good luck to all the players in their next chapter. Hopefully we see a lot of them on the practice squad this upcoming season. But if not, we know it's just a business. So we want to wish them the best as they move forward in their career. But before I break down the news, you guys are all here for the Patriots 53-man roster, and there's a lot to unpack here, but I think there's a lot of potential. I do have to let you guys know how you can find an easy and convenient and affordable way to make sure you're getting nutritious and delicious meals by using our sponsor on Patriots Today by Chat Sports, and personally, a brand that I use because I'm trying to lose some weight and just fill my body up with nutrition. I go to Factor Meals. And if you guys want to as well, you can go on ahead and get started today. And if you're asking me, Allie, what in the world are you signing up for when I do decide to get my Factor box delivered right to my door? Well, you are getting a no prep, no mess meal that is actually chef crafted with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, which is what I end up using, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, which we're extremely busy, we work 11-hour days here, I don't want to cook dinner sometimes. Sue me. But the fact that Factor Meals, I can pop in, be ready to go in 2 minutes, makes my day. Not to mention, I don't trust a lot of foods out there. I try to be a very holistic, organic type of person. So I really want to make sure I know where my food's coming from. And I 110% trust in Factor's product. 100%. I know that it's not just coming out of a box somewhere. This is somebody taking the time to make my meals so that I can have a healthy lifestyle and still be as busy as I am. So if you guys want to go on ahead and choose from 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every single week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Head on over to factormeals.com/patchchat50. Use code patchchat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. One more time, that's promo code patchchat50. Here is the official 53-man roster for your New England Patriots, and here is your quarterback room. Jacoby Brissett, Drake May, and Joe Milton are now the 3 quarterbacks that the Patriots will have. They did release Bailey Zappi earlier today, which we kind of saw was coming. However, the quarterback battle is still at large. I have it listed the way that Jerod Mayo last updated us as Jacoby Brissett, QB1, but Drake May has been working his ass off, and if he's going to beat out Jacoby, then so be it. Give me the rookie quarterback that's showing me everything I want in a leader in the backfield. I think this is a phenomenal quarterback room that has a lot of potential as a project. Will that quarterback room help the Patriots win a Super Bowl? Probably not this year. But will it make the games more intriguing than Mac Jones last year? Absolutely. And who are they going to have at their right side or left side? Let's talk about the running back depth chart. What did I say? I really thought they were going to take 4 running backs, but they kept 3. That's it. And JaMycal Hasty beat out Kevin Harris for the position. And I think that's great. That shows me tenacity. I think that means he's a headhunter. He wants to play. He's a hard-nosed running back that likes to fall forward. And I am a sucker for bowling ball running backs. I think that's what JaMycal Hasty is. When you tag that on with Ramondre Stevenson, who is the best player on offense, in my opinion, for the Pats, and then you get Antonio Gibson from the Commanders in free agency, who also will help you on third downs, I think the run game is set to be solid. But let's talk about the tight ends here real quick, because this was a huge accomplishment for Jaheim Bell, the rookie who was drafted this last year. His personality is fantastic. Not to mention, he kind of reminds me of a Logan Thomas type of build. If he was a quarterback, he'd be ginormous. But they moved him over to tight end, and he's still ginormous. Jaheim Bell is going to be a good option for quick slants, first downs, and it takes a couple of guys to tackle him. That's what you want to see. Not to mention Hunter Henry, who is already one of the top receivers for the Patriots last year. I think you're actually going to end up seeing Jaheim Bell in some options this season for the Patriots. Here is what everybody has been asking. Who are the Patriots' top receivers? I thought they were going to go with 4 running backs, but instead they went with 7 wide receivers. Kendrick Bourne was placed on the PUP list, which did allow both Kayshon Boutte and Tyquan Thornton to make the 53-man roster, and I am so happy for both of them. They both worked their ass off. They both showed me how to climb the ladder. They both showed that they have sticky hands as well, and they worked with Jacoby Brissett and with Drake May, so they got reps with the 1s and 2s. Kayshon Boutte played his booty off, and then Tyquan Thornton did as well. Top that off with Pop Douglas, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Jalen Reagor, who is also mainly used more so in the special team type of rotation, and then KJ Osborne, who they just got from the Minnesota Vikings. So I saw a lot of you guys in my previous videos saying, should we take 4 running backs? Should we keep 6 receivers, 7 receivers? Are you glad the Patriots kept 7 wide receivers, including Kayshon Boutte and Tyquan Thornton? I'm going to go Y for yes. I really initially wanted Harris and Hasty as the running back, but overall, if you're going to give Drake May or Jacoby Brissett more options in the passing game, then I'm all for it. Type Y for yes, type N for no. But we both know the passing game can only be as good as the protection is up front to make sure they have enough time to throw the damn ball. And I still don't love this. I'm going to be fully honest. No slight to any of these guys here on the screen, but ultimately, when you've got somebody like Sidy Sow, who already tweaked his ankle, Verdarian Lowe, who has a torso injury, Chuck Okorafor, who still can't figure out how to line up on the line of scrimmage, Mike Onwenu, great, David Andrews, great, I'm still not in love with the offensive line. But I am intrigued to see what Jerod Mayo will do to tweak this, because even though they kept two rookies in Layden Robinson and Caden Wallace and Nick Leverett as well, plus they had to release Calvin Anderson, like I told you guys, with that injury already, they did keep Michael Jordan. And now you have Cole Strange, who's on the PUP list, who won't be able to come back for 4 weeks, even though he hasn't been back for months. You need to add something. That's where the waiver wire comes into play. But a position where you're not really going to worry about the waiver wire is your defensive line, because look how dangerous this defensive line looks. Keon White, who I am projecting to have 8 sacks this season. He's going to have a stellar second year. Devon Godchow and Daniel Equale, who's going to step up for Christian Barmore as well. But they also signed Jeremiah Farms, Dietrich Wise Jr., Tristan Hill, which is fantastic, and O'Shane Zimenez. Big Ox, who really wasn't anything for the Giants, has proven he's found a role with the New England Patriots. I love a guy that has a chip on his shoulder. I want him to come back and just absolutely prove to the Giants why they messed up by releasing him. And I do think Ox is going to be a good team fit for the New England Patriots defense, hopefully getting Christian Barmore back as soon as possible. But they actually did place him on the reserve/non-football injury list, which means he's designated to return. We just don't know when. Taking it a step further, let's go to the cornerback room here, and I am very proud of Isaiah Bolden and Marco Wilson and Marcellus Dial for making the cornerback room. Marcellus Dial, a rookie, had a couple of great pass deflections in preseason, but also a couple of pass interference flags. Isaiah Bolden, similar in that same rep, but Isaiah Bolden almost got interception when we saw him play against the Commanders a few days ago. Both players have been working their ass off in training camp. And when you've got somebody like Christian Gonzalez, who we're still waiting to have an explosive year because he got injured last year, Jonathan Jones will be your veteran who will be in the backfield with them. And then you have Marcus Jones as well, who still was in the bubble to be this nickel. So you may see more of Isaiah Bolden switching in and out with Marcus Jones, just because I know the Patriots weren't 110% sold on Jones earlier this offseason. And then, of course, the safety depth chart. Shout out to Dell Pettus, the UDFA that worked his ass off to make the 53-man roster. I loved everything about his game. He was one of those players that you could see the chip on his shoulder. He was just glad to be out there. And now that Pettus and Hawkins get to learn under Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers, makes me that much more excited. I think the cornerback room and the safety room looks dominant. You pair that with some A1 linebackers and some major defensive hardheads on your defensive line. I think the Patriots should have another top 10 defense this upcoming season. But like I said earlier this video, the kicker battle was a huge storyline, and Joey Sly, the veteran, with his longest field goal coming in at 61 yards, has officially won the battle. I think it's well-earned. It's well-deserved. He worked his ass off. Bryce Behringer is still going to be the punter, along with Joe Cardona as your long snapper, and that will conclude the Patriots' 53-man roster. I think that's incredible. Not to mention, do we go through linebackers? Oh, let's talk about the linebackers. How did I not give them credit? The linebackers. Can we talk about the fact that Christian Ellis ended up making the 53-man roster despite him actually getting hurt in Week 3 versus the Commanders? But before he got hurt, he ended up having a team-high 11 tackle. So unfortunately, injuries are a part of the game, but it's what you do before you have to sit down on the sideline that really stands out. 11 tackles is huge. I am super glad for Christian Ellis. Same with Juwan Bentley, Josh Uche, Jelani Tavai, Anthony Jennings, and Raekwon McMillan. These 6 guys will make up the linebacker depth chart for this upcoming year. Still no Matthew Judon, but I see a lot of potential in these players to be able to maybe take his place, not in terms of how dominant he was in the stat sheet. That's going to take some time, but I'm still very excited for the players that are going to be on this 53-man roster. So, in your opinion, who was the most surprising roster cut? I'll have to say it was Kevin Harris. For them slimming down the running back room, I really thought JaMycal Hasty was going to get the boot, but I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him, and hopefully Kevin Harris finds his way to another team or thus the practice squad in the future. But keep an eye out for Patriots Today by Chat Sports. We will be posting a video tomorrow morning. The waiver wire goes live at 12 p.m. The Patriots have the 3rd stance on that waiver wire, so we will hopefully see some moves happen. If you guys want the latest Patriots news and rumors, all you have to do is hit that sub button.